Mayor, Council, Bob Weeks, 2451 Regency Lakes Court in Wichita. On this matter, I know that in the newspaper, some council members and citizens in the newspaper, in the letters to the editor, and also here today, have expressed concern that allowing contributions from corporations, PACs, and unions will somehow taint City Hall. I believe that view is really naive and doesn't reflect the reality of current campaign finance practice in Wichita, which is what I call the stacking of contributions for multiple members of interested groups. For example, a frequent practice is that a business might have several of its executives and their spouses make contributions to a candidate. Because each of these contributions are made by multiple people, the money is contributed within the campaign finance limitation framework. But the net effect is a lot of money going to a candidate's campaign in order to advance the interests of the business, thereby circumventing the intent of campaign finance laws that so many people have spoke about. A few examples. In January 2012, Councilmember James Clendenin received 9 contributions of $500 each from executives of Key Construction Company and their spouses. And another group of people associated with movie theater owner Bill Warren gave $5,000 to his campaign. Over a 2-day period in April 2012, Councilmember LaVonna Williams received 8 campaign contributions of $500 each from Key Construction executives and their spouses. And for both of these candidates, these were the only campaign funds they raised in the entire year of 2012, the year before they both stood for re-election. As you can see, these two business firms have effectively stacked campaign contributions to contribute as much as they wanted. I might note that this council routinely votes to award Key Construction various economic incentives, including no-bid contracts that turned out to be overpriced when later put to competitive bid. And in the summer of 2012, the council dealt with the matter of the contract for the Wichita Airport Terminal. Key Construction was a party to that dispute, the same Key Construction that stacked contributions to the Clendenin and Williams campaigns. Now, it doesn't matter whether council members Clendenin and Williams voted in favor of Key Construction or not on that matter. The fact that they had received so much campaign funding from a party involved in a contract dispute, well, that means that these council members should not have voted on this matter. That's the type of campaign or finance reform we need. And regarding the airport contract, at that time, Councilmember Jeff Longwell received $3,250 and 7 campaign contributions from executives and spouses of Walbridge, a Michigan construction company. These arrived to his campaign just before and after Longwell voted on the contract dispute. Now, why was Walbridge, a Michigan construction company, interested in Longwell's campaign for county commissioner? Well, Walbridge was partners with Key Construction on the bid for the airport contract. And besides these stacked contributions from Walbridge, Longwell has also benefited from the same stacking of contributions from Key Construction over the years as we voted to award incentives and overpriced no-bid contracts to that company. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's not delude ourselves. The people who want to get things from this council know exactly what to do. They stack campaign contributions as high as they want, allowing these companies to make an additional $500 contribution in the company's own name. I just don't think it's going to change very much of what the actual reality of campaign finance in Wichita is. The finance reform we really need is quite simple. It's called a pay-to-play law, and it can be as simple as this. A council member shall not participate in nor use his or her official position to influence a decision of the City Council if it is reasonably foreseeable that the decision will have a material financial effect apart from its effect on the public generally or a significant portion thereof on a recent major campaign contributor. In other words, you can make contributions to candidates. That's important because political contributions are a form of speech. And you can ask the council to give you contracts and other stuff, but you can't do both at the same time. That is a reform I would urge this council to adopt. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's time.
Bob, can you name one no-bid contract in the last 10 years that was awarded?
Yes, it was the contract for the garage at Douglas Place.
That was a bid contract, Bob.
After Councilmember O'Donnell objected, it came back to the council after competitive bid, but before it was awarded.
Okay, to award a bid means they execute that. So we never gave anyone a no-bid contract.
So I believe without the intervention of council members O'Donnell and Meitzner, if I recall, that contract would have gone through. That was your intent, Mayor, when you voted for that.
That's not true, and we can save that discussion for another time. But the fact is, in the last 10 years, there has not been a no-bid contract awarded. You understand the word awarded?
I understand when people say, we'll deal with this another time, it means they don't want to speak about it right now, so.
I'd be happy to.
We have another council. Vice Mayor, do you want to?
Well, yeah, I definitely would be happy, to speak about this. If we want to get into the weeds about the garage and key construction, we never, like the mayor said, awarded them a thing. In a letter of intent that was required by their bank, so not by their bank, but by the bank of the person, Paul Corey, who was wanting to purchase the building, we had to give them a letter of intent. And at that point, we were working with Key Construction. And nothing had been decided, but for the purposes of a letter of intent that we issued, they were named in that letter of intent. The letter of intent is not binding and is just that. And we never once, as a matter of fact, we always had discussions, not just Councilman Meitzner, although I'm going to give him most of the credit, not Councilman O'Donnell, but Councilman Meitzner most of the credit for really digging in on this thing. And once we all saw what was going on, we decided that it needed to be the way it was, and nothing was awarded, and we did the right thing. That's all.
And I guess that's the beauty of having discussion, that our minds aren't made up when we walk into this room. At the end of the day, if it came out the way that the majority of the council saw fit, and in this case it was to do a bid contract, I don't know that there's grounds to make accusations like you're making. There was no contract awarded, and at the end of the day, we bid it out. And so to mislead people and say that this council handed out a contract on a no-bid basis is absolutely false. Thank you.
That's quite a revisionist view of history, and I'd ask the city manager to perhaps explain why that incident spurred a change in city policy.
All right. Next speaker, please.